College professor is trying to fail me because I rejected his advances. I tried to report him, but it didn't work due to a lack of evidence. Please help. I don't even know how to start this without sounding crazy. I'm scared and I feel like I'm losing my mind. And now my grades, my future, might be ruined because I didn't want to go along with something disgusting. I, 20F, am a third-year college student. I'm not going to say the name of my school because I'm scared it'll get back to me somehow, but it's a well-known university in my state. I've always been a good student, like neurotically good. I'm the first person in my family to even go to college. I take it seriously. I have scholarships. I literally can't afford to screw up. This semester, I had to take a required upper-level class for my major. The professor, I'll call him Dr. H, had a reputation for being weird, but easy. Like people said he was awkward but graded fairly if you showed up and did the work. I wasn't worried. I was just focused on keeping my GPA up. At first it was normal. He was awkward, sure, but whatever. Lots of professors are. But about a month into the class, he started hovering. Like he'd linger way too long when handing back assignments, or he'd make weird comments about my appearance. You have a very professional but youthful look. Stuff like that. Harmless if you take it in a certain way, I guess, but it made my skin crawl. Then he started emailing me after class. At first it was stuff like, "I think you have a lot of potential. Would you like to meet and discuss your future plans?" That sounded reasonable, so I said yes. We met during office hours, and again, it started out fine. We talked about graduate school applications. He gave me advice. It was normal. Until the end of the meeting when he said, and I'll never forget this, "Connections matter a lot in academia. Having the right mentor, someone who can advocate for you, it can really change your life. Of course, that kind of relationship goes both ways." I laughed awkwardly because it sounded suggestive, but I didn't want to overthink. I said something dumb like, "Yeah, networking is important." After that, the emails got worse. He started calling me dear and sweetheart in emails. Once he signed off with XOXO Dr. H.I didn't reply to that one at all. I felt sick. Then one afternoon after class, he asked if I wanted to grab a drink to talk about my future more in depth. I said no, politely but firmly. I lied and said I didn't drink and that I had a boyfriend. I don't. He got this tight fake smile and said, "That's disappointing. I thought we were building something special." I was so creeped out I didn't go to class for the next few sessions. I made excuses about being sick. When I finally went back, he was cold. Like ice cold. He wouldn't call on me when I raised my hand. He marked me late when I was on time. He gave me a D on a paper I had busted my ass on, and he didn't even leave real feedback, just "did not meet expectations" scribbled at the top. I knew then that I was screwed. I went to the department chair to report it. I showed them the emails, but they said nothing was explicit. They said calling someone dear or signing off with XOXO wasn't enough to prove harassment. They said asking for drinks could be interpreted innocently. I was so furious I started crying in their office like an idiot. They told me they'd keep an eye on the situation, but that retaliation is hard to prove unless I had more documentation. I don't know what to do. He's the only professor teaching this required course this semester. If I drop it, I lose my full-time status and maybe my scholarships. If I stay, he's going to fail me out of spite. I tried talking to student advocacy, but they said the same thing. Without concrete evidence, there's not much they can do unless I catch him doing something worse. But how do you catch something that's mostly subtle? He's not grabbing me or saying sleep with me for an A. He's just creating this atmosphere where I feel gross and powerless and afraid to even show up to class. I'm seriously considering recording him, like leaving my phone on voice memo in my bag during office hours or something. But I don't know if that's even legal in my state. I'm scared if I screw up, I'll get in trouble instead. I feel so trapped. This class is 30% of my final GPA calculation for the semester. If I fail, I could lose my scholarship. If I lose my scholarship, I probably can't finish school. All because I wouldn't let some middle-aged creep mentor me into his bed. I don't even know what I'm asking here. Advice? Encouragement? If anyone's been through something like this before, please tell me what you did. I feel like I'm drowning, and I'm so scared he's going to get away with it. Again. Update 1. I'm shaking typing this. I almost didn't post because I'm embarrassed and exhausted, but if I don't talk about it somewhere, I think I'm going to explode. First of all, thank you to everyone who commented and messaged me on my original post. I can't even explain how much it helped just to feel like someone, anyone, believed me. I spent a lot of time reading through the comments and crying, and then rereading them, and then rereading them again. It made me feel a little less crazy for a minute. But yeah, things are bad. So after the original post, I decided I had to keep my head down and document everything. I started keeping a daily journal. Every time Dr. H did something even slightly off, a weird look, a weird tone, anything that felt off, I wrote it down immediately. Times, dates, what he said. I also screenshot every email, even the ones that were technically innocent. I started using a voice recorder on my phone. Thank you to the person who messaged me about checking my state's recording laws. It's one-party consent here. I thought maybe I could protect myself if it came down to it. It didn't matter. He failed my midterm. Flat out F. I'm not exaggerating. I studied harder for that exam than I have for anything else in college. I was up until 4 a.m. most nights for 2 weeks straight. Flashcards, practice problems, study groups, even tutoring, and I knew the material. I didn't just think I knew it, I knew it. I walked out of that test feeling like, yeah, I crushed it. I was proud for once. But when I checked the grade portal last Friday, it didn't even make sense. Like, I'm talking 43% level failure, not just bad, catastrophic. I emailed him, formal, polite, asking if I could set up a meeting to go over my exam. No response. I waited 48 hours, then emailed again. Still no response. Finally, yesterday after class, I waited outside his office during his scheduled hours. He saw me. He looked right at me through the tiny glass window in the door, and he just didn't open it. I stood there for almost 20 minutes like an idiot. When another student knocked, he opened it immediately, smiled, let them in, slammed it back shut when they left. He's icing me out, completely, like I don't exist, like I'm not even worth humiliating to my face. I went back to the department chair again, armed with my emails and my grades and everything. They listened, sort of, nodded along, took notes, said all the right things about taking allegations seriously and academic integrity. And then they said, of course, a single bad grade does not necessarily constitute retaliation. I swear I almost blacked out when they said that. Like it's not just the grade, it's everything. The late marks, the ignoring, the weird comments, the complete freezing out. But because he didn't say anything provable, because he didn't put anything in writing about punishing me, it's my word against his. They told me I could file a formal grade appeal after the semester is over, but it'll be subject to committee review, and professor input will be considered heavily. Meaning? He'll lie. He'll say I was a bad student, or that I didn't meet expectations, or whatever else he wants. And without hard proof, they'll believe him. He's been here for 15 years. I'm just some random undergrad with an axe to grind. I feel sick writing this. I feel like such a failure. I keep thinking, what if I had just shut up and played along, smiled and laughed and let him flirt? What if I'd just been nicer? Maybe then I wouldn't be in this mess. Maybe then I wouldn't be looking at losing my scholarship, losing my future. I know that's stupid. I know it's not my fault. But it feels like my fault anyway. I can't even tell my parents. My mom keeps texting me about how proud she is that I'm almost done with another year and keeping your grades up. How do I tell her that her daughter might not even graduate because some creepy old man decided he wanted more than just teaching me? Also, small thing, but it broke me. I found out yesterday that the student who got to meet with him after he ignored me, she's now the class assistant for next semester. He announced it today, said she was exceptionally bright. I don't know if she played along or if he just genuinely likes her, but it felt like getting punched in the gut. Meanwhile, I'm the ghost girl sitting in the back, invisible unless he needs someone to punish silently. I feel like I'm unraveling. I don't know what to do next. I don't even know if there is a next. Right now I'm just trying to survive until finals, but it feels impossible. Every day walking into that classroom feels like dragging a boulder uphill, while everyone watches and pretends nothing is wrong. If anyone has been through anything even remotely like this, please, if you have any advice at all, I'm begging. I can't keep pretending everything's okay much longer. I'm so tired. Edit. A lot of people have been messaging and commenting, and I want to answer some of the main things that keep coming up. Thank you so much to everyone who's been kind. I've honestly been reading your words over and over just to remind myself I'm not crazy. 1. Why don't you just drop the class? I wish I could, but dropping it would put me below the minimum credit requirement for full-time status. If that happens, I lose my scholarship and probably my campus housing too. There's no alternative section or different professor this semester. Dr. H is the only one teaching it right now. My advisor basically told me I'm stuck unless I want to completely wreck my enrollment status. 2. Can you transfer schools? Technically yes, but it's not that simple. I'm almost finished with my degree, and transferring would mean losing credits, repeating classes, maybe taking another year or two longer, and paying even more money I don't have. And honestly, part of me feels like he shouldn't chase me away. I worked my ass off to get here. 3. Did you try recording him? Yes. I started recording, audio only, during office hours and any time I interacted with him one-on-one after the original post. So far, nothing super incriminating, just a lot of coldness and short answers. He's smart enough to be careful now, I think, but I'm still recording, just in case he slips. 4. Why didn't you escalate the harassment sooner? Honestly, because it was subtle. If he had grabbed me, said something disgusting outright, it would have been different. But calling me dear, saying networking is a two-way street, it's creepy, but it's just barely creepy enough to make people doubt you if you report it. I was scared I was overreacting. I gaslit myself before anyone else even could. 5. Can you get a lawyer? I don't have money for a lawyer. I'm barely paying for books and groceries right now. Someone suggested legal aid, and I'm looking into it, but I don't know how realistic it is. And honestly, suing the school sounds like a nightmare I don't have the strength for right now. 6. Are there other students he's done this to? I have no idea. I'm too scared to ask around openly, but I've started paying attention more, and there are a couple girls he seems way too friendly with. I don't want to accuse them of anything, but I don't know. I'm thinking about posting anonymously on a student board to see if anyone else has had weird experiences with him. Maybe if it's not just me, people will believe me more. Update 2. I don't even know how to explain what's happened since my last post without sounding like I'm losing it even more. I'm trying to stay calm and be smart, but I honestly feel like I'm trapped in some slow-moving nightmare that just keeps twisting the knife. After everything, the ignored emails, the failed midterm, getting shut down by the department chair, I felt completely helpless. But one comment from the last post stuck with me. Someone said maybe I wasn't the only one he's messed with. Maybe if I could find other students, we could make them actually listen. So I made a burner account on our school's unofficial student Reddit and just put it out there. I didn't name him. I just made a vague post. Has anyone else ever felt uncomfortable around a certain professor and department, like weird, inappropriate comments, retaliation, etc., trying to figure out if I'm crazy? It didn't blow up or anything, but a few hours later, I got a DM. It was another girl. I'll call her L. She said she graduated 2 years ago, but she knew exactly who I was talking about without me even saying the name. Dr. H. She said he used to email her extra help offers, tried to meet her outside of class hours, gave her weird mentorship speeches that always seemed to hint at something more. She said she shut him down gently, and he tanked her participation grade for the semester. She barely passed because she had documented attendance and assignments, but still lost a huge chunk of her GPA from his class. I asked if she ever reported it. She said yes, and the school investigated and found nothing because, surprise, no explicit evidence and subjectivity around grades. I wanted to scream. We talked for hours over DMS. She said she would be willing to back me up if I filed a formal complaint. For the first time in weeks, I felt not alone, like maybe I wasn't crazy. Maybe if there were 2 of us, they'd actually have to listen. I emailed the Title IX office again, attached my journal, my recordings, even though they're pretty boring, and told them I had another student willing to give a statement. It took 3 days for them to respond. 3 days of me checking my inbox every hour and feeling like my heart was going to rip itself out of my chest. When they finally emailed back, they said, "While we take all allegations seriously, in order to open a formal investigation, we require either contemporaneous documentation of misconduct, i.e., emails, texts, voicemails, or corroborated testimony indicating a pattern of behavior during the same academic year." Because Elle graduated 2 years ago, her testimony did not establish a current pattern of misconduct. They literally told me that since the harassment didn't happen this year, it doesn't count. I feel like I'm living in some Kafka-esque nightmare where the rules change every time I think I've figured them out. I tried to argue, I begged, I wrote the longest, most desperate email of my life explaining how retaliation can be subtle, how survivors don't always come forward right away, how they're setting impossible standards that protect abusers. They said they're sympathetic to my concerns, but that their hands are tied. They suggested informal resolution, which basically means me sitting in a room with Dr. H and a mediator and telling him to please stop being mean to me, as if that's going to fix anything. I said no, hell no. I feel like I'm being punished for not having a smoking gun. Like if he had just been a little more obvious, if he had groped me or sent a dick pic or threatened me outright, maybe then they'd believe me. But because he was calculated and careful, because he knew exactly how far he could push without leaving proof, I'm the one left looking crazy. I don't even know what to do next. I can't sue him. I can't switch classes. I can't make them listen. The only thing keeping me going right now is Elle. She's been texting me every day, checking in, telling me I'm not crazy, that what he's doing is wrong even if the system doesn't care. She said she wishes she'd fought harder when it happened to her, that maybe if she had, it would have been different for me. It's not her fault. It's not mine either. I keep repeating that to myself like a prayer, but it barely sinks in. Classes are almost over. Finals are next month. I'm hanging by a thread. Every time I walk into his classroom now, I feel like I'm walking into a war zone. Every time he looks past me like I'm invisible, I feel a little more erased. Sometimes I sit in the library for hours afterward, pretending to study while I just stare at nothing, trying not to cry where anyone can see me. I'm so tired. I'll post another update if anything else happens, but honestly, I don't even know if it will make a difference anymore. Update 3. So a lot has happened way faster than I expected. I don't even know where to start because it's been non-stop. First off, I found out why people were acting so weird around me. Turns out Dr. H has been spreading rumors, telling people in the department that I'm the one obsessed with him, that I made advances and got angry when he rejected me, like I was stalking him or something. I didn't even believe it at first until a girl from class told me straight up. She said she overheard 2 TAs talking about it in the library. They called me that crazy chick who's trying to ruin a good professor's career. I honestly wanted to throw up when I heard that, so I went to the Title IX office again and told them everything. I said this was retaliation. Smearing a student's reputation? That's clear retaliation. I even had a witness now. They barely blinked. They said without direct evidence, like recordings or messages, it's he said, she said. Same garbage answer as before. I was pissed. I was done playing nice. I told Elle, the girl from my burner post, the one who had her own bad experience with him. We decided enough was enough. She posted everything publicly, screenshots, timestamps, everything she saved, emails where he called her beautiful mind, offered private mentoring, and suddenly tanked her grades when she kept things professional. She didn't name him directly, smart, but everyone knew exactly who it was. And then other people started coming out too. One guy commented that Dr. H gave all the guys in his class high participation marks and girls had to prove themselves. One girl DM'd me saying she never reported it, but he joked during a one-on-one advising session that she should smile more if she wanted recommendation letters. Another said he kept touching her shoulder every time she asked for help at the board. All separate stories, all creepy in slightly different ways. It spread fast, way faster than I thought it would. That night, the university's subreddit was blowing up. Mods had to sticky a post reminding people to keep things anonymous to avoid doxing, but it didn't matter. The damage was done. Everyone knew it was him. Next morning, campus email from the dean. We take allegations of misconduct seriously. Any student with concerns is encouraged to come forward. Still no names, still covering their asses. But then 2 hours later, official announcement, Dr. H is being placed on administrative leave pending investigation, effective immediately. His classes, including mine, are being taken over by another faculty member for the rest of the semester. He's gone. Just like that. Out of the building, out of the classroom, gone. Nobody even saw him leave. Rumor is they pulled him into a meeting early that morning and escorted him out before anyone else got to campus. And yeah, I know it's pending investigation, but let's be real. If they're moving this fast, they already know he's radioactive. Now the campus is a mess. Half the students are gossiping. Some are mad. Mostly older faculty loyal to him. Some are acting like they always knew something was off. Yeah, right. And some people are just stunned because this never happens at our school. Not this fast. I'm getting DMS now. Girls from years ago. Current freshmen. People thanking me and Elle for speaking up. For giving them the guts to say something too. It's overwhelming. I didn't even know how much fear there was until the fear started breaking open. To be clear, it's not over for me. Some people still think I made it up. Some people are still whispering behind my back. I still have to walk into finals pretending I'm fine. And yeah, there's no guarantee he's fired forever. Schools love to quietly resign people and sweep it under the rug. But for the first time in months, I feel like I won something. Final update. Okay, I wasn't even going to update again, but after what just happened today, I had to. South, I guess karma decided to move a little faster than usual. A couple days after Dr. H got placed on administrative leave, stuff started leaking. At first it was little things. Someone said they saw HR pulling old student files. Someone else said a former TA was suddenly called in for a meeting, even though she graduated 2 years ago. Then this morning, boom. Someone posted screenshots in the campus subreddit. It's anonymous, but it's legit. It's the Title IX portal. Turns out there were already complaints against Dr. H going back years. Multiple. Not just mine. Not just L's. Old ones. Ones that got handled quietly before. And now that there's public heat, the university can't bury them anymore. Apparently, 2 more women filed official new reports in the last 48 hours, and one of them had receipts. Real ones. Text messages. Gross ones. Way worse than anything I had. I don't want to post what they said because it honestly made my skin crawl reading it, but yeah, he was playing this game for a long time, with a lot of students. The university had no choice. They're launching a full Title IX investigation, and he's officially banned from campus pending the outcome. He's basically toast. And guess what? Local news picked it up. There's an article now. They didn't name him because of pending investigation policies, but it's very obvious who it is if you know the department. Students are in the comments section dropping hints so hard it's basically spelled out. I can't even explain how crazy the vibe is on campus right now. Half the professors are suddenly super awkward and quiet. Other students are acting like this is some Netflix docuseries unfolding live. You can't walk past a coffee shop without hearing someone whisper about it. Even some alumni are posting on Facebook about how things always felt weird in that department, but they didn't think they could say anything back then. It's like all the walls cracked at once, and now everybody's stories are leaking out. For me personally, I had a meeting with financial aid today. They said because of extraordinary circumstances, and probably because they don't want another news article, my GPA issue is being reviewed manually. There's a decent chance they'll extend my scholarship for next year. I'm not counting on anything yet, but it's more hope than I've had in months. And here's the craziest part. I found out from someone in admin, who's friends with my old RA, that Dr. H was actually on thin ice even before all this. Apparently, he'd gotten quiet warnings from HR for boundary concerns with students as far back as 2018, but because nobody made a big enough stink, they just kept slapping his wrist and moving on. Until now. Now they can't hide it anymore. Now it's out there. Now it's bigger than just me. I don't know how this ends. He could settle with the school. He could resign quietly. He could fight it and drag it out for months. But one thing's for sure. He's not coming back to teach here. Not after this. And honestly, that's enough for me right now. I didn't think I could survive this semester. I didn't think anyone would believe me. I didn't think fighting back would work. But here I am. Here we are. Because it wasn't just me. It was all of us who spoke up, little by little, until it got too loud to ignore. If you're reading this and you're scared about speaking up, I'm not gonna lie. It's hell. It's lonely. It's terrifying. But sometimes hell breaks open just enough to let the light in. Sometimes you win by just refusing to shut up. Thanks for everyone who stuck around through this nightmare. I'm logging off for a while to finally breathe.